Hello, this is Cristiano Nogueira from River Parties, and I'm going to go over the hotels that Rio has to offer so you can get a better idea of which hotels will be more appropriate for you. So, this is all Rio de Janeiro. These are neighboring cities: Niterói, Duque Caxias, Nova Iguaçu. So, even though this is a lot of area, what really matters to most visitors is just this corner over here, which is Ipanema, Leblon, Copacabana, and Centro and Santa Teresa. So Sugarloaf is over here in this tip. Let's zoom in. Sugarloaf is over here. Corcovado, the Christ statue, is over here. Santa Teresa, Lapa, which is the nightlife area. Downtown, which is historic and good for business visitors. Copacabana, most of the hotels are. Ipanema and Leblon has some hotels, and then this is Barra and São Conrado. Most visitors just hang around this area here. So let's look at these hotels. So we're on Booking.com, which tends to have the best prices for hotels. They're very good negotiators. They squeeze the hell out of hotels just so they can bring you amazing prices. So now let's go over some of the areas, and and we'll figure out which ones are best for the different types of visitors. If you're coming as a family, you want to stay in Ipanema or Leblon. These are the two safest neighborhoods in Rio. The ones, at least the one from the ones that have hotels. If you're coming, you just have a lot safer time, or at least a feeling of safeness in these two over here. If you're single ladies, or a couple, you also want to stay in any of these two over here. They have enough hotels to give an option. Just the hotels here tend to be slightly pricier than the rest in Rio. If you're coming for business, you want to stay either in Centro, any of these hotels over here, and there's plenty. Hold on. Anything in Centro. This is all Centro. You want to stay in any of these, that's fine. So a lot of them are very run down. They have some newer ones. You have to check to see, because like a lot of these hotels over here are like little buildings, with really really old, run down situations. That one's a nicer one, but like some of these are just old hotels. But you might want to check with the company that you're doing business with, because they could be stationed in Baja. So if they're not downtown, they'll probably be over here on this side. And there's lots of newer hotels over here. So if you want to stay close to your work, whether Baja or downtown, those are the two options. Copa, which is this area over here, this neighborhood, is good if you're coming with either a large group, because the hotels are slightly cheaper over here, or if you're just a bunch of guys or a couple of male friends, you can deal with all the unsafeness feelings that you get from Copa. Though you'll be fine staying over here. Copa is very busy, especially here in this middle part. Let me zoom in. It's very busy here in this middle part. It's kind of quiet on this side. This is also Arpoador, neighborhood between Copa and Ipanema, and very quiet over here in Leme, also very safe also. So you can consider Leme. That's also a good place for families. And there's also another good hotel that a lot of people forget is the Sheraton. It's 5-star hotel. The prices, that's for 4 nights, 1,400, so that's 350 per night. That's not bad considering it's a resort, has its own beach, got tennis courts, so on. So you're just a little far away from Ipanema, but you can still cab back and forth, to get to all the to get. But there's really not much to do around here other than the own beach that it has. Botafogo has a lot of hostels, but not many hotels. A lot of hostels in this area. A lot of houses. The other very nice area that you want to consider is Santa Teresa, which is like it feels like a little city, a little village inside Rio. It's on the hill, hence that would explain all the squiggly lines over here. But this is all hillside, and it's on top. So it's an older, very cute part of town, right next to Lapa. So you can just stay here, do a lot of you know a lot of your tours during the day, and then at night you heading towards Lapa just about every day. For samba clubs and bossa nova or chorinho or whatever, or even rock and roll. They have like a lot of clubs in this area over here, and Santa Teresa has got nice restaurants and a lot of bed and breakfasts. There's only one hotel called Hotel Santa Teresa, very nice, top three in Rio, if not the best. The rest are just very nice posadas, and they have some which are the bed and breakfasts, which are called posadas in Rio in Portuguese, and also a lot of hostels also in Santa Teresa. So you might want to consider staying here because it's a different type of vacation, Rio vacation if you do stay here. So let's see now. If you are on a budget, consider the cheaper hotels in Copa or even the bed and breakfasts or even the hostels. Some of the hostels have private rooms, so you won't be sharing a room with anybody. But you may have like a bathroom down the corridor, and for $100 you can get to stay in Ipanema, which you wouldn't be able to afford if you're just staying in the hotels in Ipanema, which usually run north of $150. So for like $100 you can stay in like a nice hostel, which will really feel like a bed and breakfast over here. Plus you get the feel of the youthful feel of staying in a hostel. So people team up and do things together instead of just you not interacting with the other guests, which is what the feel of a hotel anywhere in the world feels like. So I would consider, if you're on a budget, I would stay in any of the hostels. Look for individual rooms in hostels, or some of the cheaper hotels that there are in the inside parts of Copa, not along the beach, but along the inside parts. Yeah, I wouldn't stay in Central unless I was really intense on working all day, because at night it's not a very nice area to hang around with. There's like a few bars in this area over here, but then the rest is just streets that you don't want to be walking around at night. Not that it's dangerous, but it's just it's like just too empty, for it to feel safe. Um, and like I said before, Baja is a great option if you have business to do over here. If you don't, then you just want to stick to any of these three neighborhoods. You'll be close to most of the touristic attractions that Rio has to offer. Another good option also and is to hop over to Airbnb or any of the apartment rental sites that from the companies that Rio has, and rent an apartment. The rules would be the same. The options for the neighborhood recommendations would stay the same. Ipanema first, Leblon second, Copa third, and Santa Teresa. Also a possible first place depending on what the type of tourism you want to do. So Rio has a lot of over 1,000 apartments you can choose from. They'll range. Prices are around $100 per night for an apartment. You can get, if you look around, you can get some cheaper things. This is a bed and breakfast posing as an apartment. But if you look around, you can probably find affordable apartments in Rio. Let's see. So we went over hotels, we went over apartments. And the last option is couch surfing. Couch surfing is the option of staying on someone's apartment, whether it's a couch or an extra bedroom that they may have. You get to stay there. If it's just a few days, they'll let you stay there for free. And that's really nice, given that it's free. But it's a community, and so you kind of like have to give back. Eventually, you can't just be staying in people's couches for the rest of your life, without ever paying, or without ever contributing back. So you earn points. The more you host, it's not good if you want to stay for over a couple of days, like 4 or 5 days. You can stay like up to 3 days, and also, the members. I think the only other caveat is just make sure that you find someone who has a nice place to stay in a nice area. 'Cause a lot of people are all over the Rio and offering an apartment, and just because it's free, you don't want to stay, like over in north side of Rio, or west side, or even further out. So if you're just coming to Rio for a few days, and if you do find something for free in Ipanema Leblon, great. Otherwise look for apartments or hostels, and also booking, or hotels through booking.com will be a good idea. All right, so now let's go over the hostels. Hostel Bookers or Hostel World. They both have basically the same price, the same rules for apply. If you can find a hostel in Ipanema Leblon, even if it's slightly more expensive, it's definitely worth it. Copa has a lot of hostels also. The buildings tend to be slightly newer, not very, they're like 35 years old here, they're 45 years old, 50 years old here. Here they're a lot older, but that doesn't mean that they're bad, because they may be quaint or nice or old buildings. So Santa Teresa has like 100-year-old, century-old buildings, with very nice hostels. So it's really up to the ratings that they get. On Hostel World, they all have ratings. So you can figure out, which is the best hostel by looking at the ratings. Here you get these, ratings, averages out people's reviews. And most hostels in Rio go for roughly 40 to 50 reais. So that's roughly $20 to $25. A good option to consider if you want something very different is to stay either in a hostel or a bed and breakfast in one of the favelas. There is a great one here called right over here, somewhere over here. It's called The Maze. It's also an amazing hotel, bed and breakfast, with a great view. You're facing Sugarloaf, so you just basically have a view of all this over here. Beautiful. There is also one in Leme. There's a couple in Leme. Map view. Yeah, there is here this one, Licetonga hostel. It's in the middle of a favela on a hill. Beautiful views from up here. Very safe favela. What else? So we have these two options. So we have the one up here, the Maze and Licetonga. And I think there is a few over here also, which are also here. Vidigal Albergue Rio Hostel, Casa Alto Vidigal, Ocean in Rio Leblon, and yeah. So you have a couple of choices for staying in a hillside community called the favela. So I guess now we've been able to cover Rio as far as hotels, couch surfing, Airbnb, which is apartments, and hostels. So that covers Rio. Thank you.